if we get this wrong, if there's any chance we do not win this election, then we will have ruined a generation of kids that come from all different backgrounds, all different communities. We must re-elect Governor Mario Cuomo because our children need this more than ever. Do you agree? It's about these kids. It's about all of our children.
The story is that New York voters loudly and strongly rejected the anti-worker, anti-people politics of Astorino.
Everything we believe in, everything we believe in, they hate. They don't disagree. They hate. They think that if you didn't come from Europe 30 years ago, we shouldn't have immigration. Some of them believe that slavery isn't over and that they won the Civil War. They refuse to help to have a wage where people can live a decent life, to build our infrastructure, to build up our schools, to make certain we have research and development. And when they start hurting their own health care, you know they're sick. That's right. And so what we have to do is send a collective voice, and I wish we had more religious leaders out there. Everything we are doing is God's work. That's right.
By the same token, we've been fighting in more recent years, not just to keep the gains of Roe v. Wade, we're fighting all the time, and God forbid Astorino should get elected, we'll try to go in the other direction. But we're fighting in Washington to retain the rights of choice. We're also fighting, much of the history of this country. Much of the history of this country goes back to the very beginning. In the beginning of the country, we wrote a Declaration of Independence that said all men are created equal. But what did they mean by that? Who are men? It didn't include black men under equal. It didn't include women. It didn't include Native Americans. It didn't even include white men without property. Much of the history of this country has been a history of the struggle, the continuing struggle to expand the definition of who's covered by all men are created equal. I should say all men and women, but all men are created equal in 1776. And we're still fighting on that. We're fighting against Republican attempts to turn back the right to vote all over this country. We're fighting all over to the latest expansion for lesbian and gay and transgender people who were never considered. In states in this country, it's still legal, and the federal government is still legal to refuse to hire somebody because they're gay, or to fire somebody because they're gay. And in this state, Governor Cuomo was instrumental in getting something done that hadn't been done, although the attempt had been made before, and that was to get the legislature to recognize the right to same-sex marriage. The new civil rights.
You always hear this every year. Elections, you're out choices, right? It's all about the choices. Well, I cannot think of a greater contrast in my lifetime than the choices we have running for governor in the state of New York.
You elected Andrew Cuomo Attorney General, and you elected Andrew Cuomo Governor of the state of New York, and you re-elect Andrew Cuomo Governor of the state of New York. You're going to elect Kathy Hochul, the first Democratic Lieutenant Governor in 35 years of being there. Government can work. It proved that we can come together as a collective and we can make this place a better place, one for the other. Because this is a different kind of Republican. This is not your father's Republican Party we're talking about. These are not the moderate Republicans that we're accustomed to in New York. This is the ultra-conservative Washington Republican. It's my way or the highway. It's gridlock and paralysis, ultra-conservative ideology. That's what this is all about. They think they're going to roll back Roe v. Wade and take away a woman's right to choose 40 years. We say no equality from our gay brothers and sisters, and we say, no way!
I'm so grateful that the governor asked me to come here and be a part of this because I was getting homesick. Because at election time, I feel like an old retired racehorse. And I'm living up there in Chappaqua, I'm retired in my barn, having a nice time. I actually have an office in an old barn there, it's 110 years old. So I'm in the barn and all of a sudden somebody comes in with a little extra hay. And then they start brushing on my coat. And they haul me out to the track and slap me on the rump just to see if I can get around one more time. So, wherever people are working together, trying to make something good happen, good things are happening. Wherever people spend all their time fighting, trying to build walls, they may get money, they may get power, they may win a few elections, but good things are not happening. They are not happening. Basically, we're for raising the minimum wage, we're for equal pay, we're for reforming the student loan laws in Washington to lower the interest rates on these loans. We're making progress in Albany on opening up preschool to all the kids who need it. I'm not mad at anybody. Half the people I talk to are mad, seems like around America. I'm not mad at anybody. I lived to go to my 50th high school reunion a couple of weeks ago, and I'm a grandfather. What have I got to be mad about? But I'll tell you what I'm worried about. If we don't keep going in this direction, when my about-to-be 5-week-old granddaughter starts kindergarten, she will have heard 3 million more words spoken in more different ways than the children of poor working mothers that have to get up every morning, drop their kids off at child care, and they have all they can do to pay their bills and keep body and soul together. And that's wrong. That is wrong. All of our children deserve the same chance. They deserve equal opportunities in education. They deserve school to perform well. They deserve a chance to go to college or get job training. You think we're all in this together, or are we on our own? If we're all in this together, we should give Governor Cuomo the biggest re-election margin in history so we can win. So we can win these legislative battles and we can win these congressional seats. That's what Andrew Cuomo has done. He has made this a more progressive, more fair, more forward-looking state. And it turned out to be good for the economy.